It's Barb from my craft studio. I've got a vlog to share today. If you don't like chatty videos, you might want to skip this. I'll be right back. Today I thought we'd talk about the final week of the Get Organized Challenge. As I said last week, I kind of hit a standstill. I did order some, and I've received the Fantastic 5 pages. I ordered those from scrapbook.com. I need to get that whole video up yet. And I placed an order with Tiffany for some other pages that I ran out of, but that was a warehouse sale, so no clue how long they'll take. I have to take this probably off. It has gotten so hot here. It's with the heat index close to 100. We went from winter to summer, and the heat used to not bother me at all, but anymore. Whew. And I don't think it jumping that fast in temperature helped me any. But until I get the rest of my supplies for the GOC, I really can't go much further. I am going to try to cut up some of my white card stuff that I bought for lining the pockets, so that part is done before my pages get here, so that I'll be ready to get to work when they come. But the challenge checklist for this week is to find a tote that you want to use for crops. Try to make it exclusively for traveling if you can. Create a packing list of must-haves. These are things that you use every time you craft. Spend some time thinking about how to pack these and how they'll be used. Keep the list in your tote so you can use it every time you pack. If you find there's things you always take but never use, cross them off the list. And of course, if you find things that you need that you didn't bring, add them to your list. Tiffany likes an in-out list, so she can show this stuff went in my bag, so it needs to come home with me. Because that way, if you loan something to somebody, you remember to get it back. She has samples of that list and a more extensive packing list, like if you're going on a multi-day retreat or something, on her website. Decide how much you can do in a crop, add 20% to that amount just in case you skip eating and sleeping. This should include the number of pages or projects that you can reasonably accomplish. Use this list as your guide for packing to go to the crop or event. Adjust based on your actual experience. After you pack a few times, you'll kind of get an idea of, oh, I don't need anywhere near this amount, or maybe I needed a little bit more of something, Then post your progress and share it in a Facebook group, and don't forget to take that reward if you're participating. I don't travel with my supplies, so this week really wouldn't have had much for me to do anyways. Next thing I was going to mention was on Monday, June 13th, HSN is having some craft hours. It's not a full day of crafting, but there will be some crafting hours, and the today's special will be something crafty, because that's labeled that first hour is just labeled craft sale. And then it's got late night bites, top tack, with sometimes there's things in there that will work. And then of course they repeat hours. Monday morning markdowns could be crafty. That one's beauty. Daily deals and top finds could be crafty. There's a lot of hours in the middle of the day from like 2 to 5 Eastern time, because this is in Eastern time because that's where HSN is located. Just say craft sale. And then from 9 to 11, it says Suzanne Gets Crafty sale. And from 11 to midnight, it says Origami Storage and Organization. So there are some crafting hours in June. A lot of times they don't do quite as much in the summer with crafting events. I'm trying to think, is it usually July that they just... No, because July is usually the Christmas in July. It's usually June, I think, that they take off, and they are having a few hours. It's not going to be a full day. But I went to the doctor the other day, and my cholesterol went up instead of down. But she did a risk assessment, and she said, well, my overall risk of my lifetime was like 39%. She goes, that's higher than I'd like. She says, your risk factor for the next 10 years is like 2.9. I usually don't call in meds until it hits 10%. She goes, so I want you to try to get it down with diet and exercise. So I need to get exercising better. I'm kind of hit or miss on that right now, and we need to get back into the Mediterranean diet. Now, I know I won't follow that 100%, but one thing we did decide to do was join Every Plate. I did some research, and that one seemed like it was the most cost effective. We're getting 3 meals for two meals on 3 different days for 2. No, 1 meal. No, it's 2 meals because it's 1 for me, 1 for him. But we're doing the 2-plate option 3 times a week. So we're gonna try it and see how it goes. I'm trying to pick things that are either meatless or have like chicken, or I'm not a big fish person, but fish would be okay. But we'll see how that goes. These are kind of what I chose for our first 3 weeks. It's caramelized zucchini linguine. I know pasta probably, too much pasta is not a bad thing, but I figure if I can hold that down to once a week, eventually I'd like to get it down to once every other week, but this one actually has 2 in 1 week and then 1 in each of the others. But it's going to depend on what they offer. I mean, some of their veggie options were spicy with a little pepper by them, meaning they're probably hot, and neither one of us like that flavor profile. And more importantly, that flavor profile does not like me. I don't feel well after eating that type of food, so it's a no-go. But this one should be good. It's a Mediterranean roasted veggie sandwich, so that one should be pretty good. And then this is turkey bolognese pasta skillet, the caramelized onion burger. I'm trying to only do 1 a week at most of this type of meal where it's ground beef, because I know I'm supposed to limit the amount of ground beef. This one's chicken penny sausage, which I know sausage isn't the best, but at least it was chicken. This one here is the smash burger. I know that's actually during the first week. These aren't printed in the order that we're getting them. This one's asparagus tomato linguine. I figured that one should be fairly decent. This one's caramelized zucchini and tomato melt. Again, it's a meatless option. I'm hoping that it's like a whole grain type bread, but we'll see. This is a steak and caramelized onion sando, they call it. It's a sandwich. But we'll see how it goes. We're supposed to get our first delivery Monday of next week. We figured we might have them Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And then Sundays, every other week, we host and go out to my mother-in-law, so that's one I'll always have to plan. And then the other Sunday, we go to our daughter's house. So, and we usually try to do appetizers. We were doing on Saturday, and we're going to move them to Friday with this. We used to eat out on Wednesdays and Fridays. We're going down to just Wednesday. So then hubby kind of takes care of appetizers. But we are going to try to do something a little more healthy, because we don't mind just having a snack night. So maybe like some veggies and hummus. Or even, you could even do guacamole. I know that's a little higher in calories, but it's still a healthy fat avocado. Usually what where you go wrong with guacamole is the chips, which hubby can have the chips if he wants, but I'm going to try hard not to do that. I did buy some I'm not sure how it's pronounced, and I think it's Naan bread that I'm going to try dipping in the hummus. That because we're having it's like a layered hummus that you buy store bought. You could make your own, I suppose, but we just bought a store bought one, and then you put like cucumbers and tomato and that stuff on top of it, and make it a little more filling, I guess. So I bought some different veggies to have. I'm gonna make a cucumber salsa for this week. Again, the naan will come in well there. Hubby did buy some Fritos for himself, and that's fine. I'm gonna try not to eat any of those. We'll see how it goes. I do want to start getting out and walking at least once a day and try to work in the exercises for my hip at least 3 times a week. So hopefully that can get better. We talked about my hip, and she says, what did he recommend for it? I said, well, he gave me some extra. She goes, what about a shot? I said, he did offer that. I said, but I know that's a steroid shot, and I have osteopenia already. She says, well, it's a good consideration, but she goes, I don't think if you do one of those every now and then, it's going to hurt your bones that much. So she goes, so if it gets unbearable, go ahead and go for the shot. So I did, and then she goes, oh, and by the way, I'm switching my practice. Right now she does palliative care and family practice. She goes, I'm giving up the family practice part mainly, which my face must have just kind of fallen because I finally found a doctor that I like. And she goes, you still fall under palliative care because of the Sjogren's. And she goes, and there are a few patients that I'm going to keep, and I'll keep their family members as well. I said, oh, that's good because hubby has an appointment with you. We wanted to get him. She goes, yeah, I can keep him because, she goes, I'm not going to keep too many family care practice things, but like patients like me who have a long-term condition that they're going to have all their life. She goes, I'll keep them and I'll keep their family members. But she says, I'll be operating out of a different building, so I wanted you to know that. So your next visit will be in a different building. She goes, as a matter of fact, she goes, I want to see you in 6 months, but we'll call you. And she goes, if you haven't heard, and I can't remember what date she told me. I think she said they were moving in July, so if I haven't heard by mid-July, probably I need to call and tell them, hey, I need to do that. I had my second COVID booster, so I am all up to date. Hubby got that too. I forgot I needed to have my second shingles shot, so I did send her a message when I got home yesterday because I'm like, can that wait 6 months, or should I get it elsewhere, or can we just make an appointment to come in with a nurse and get that shot? I said, because I would like to get that. I'm thinking if I don't hear from her in the next 2 weeks. Sometimes she's good about answering messages, sometimes she's not. I know her regular nurse is off right now, so that might affect how well she answers messages. But so we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping, and I've been looking up low cholesterol shopping lists, so I printed this one out. This one I had to enlarge so I could read it. I'm sure some of it's duplicated, but I kind of like the format of it. It tells you, it groups it by different categories, which the other one did a little bit too. And then it also tells you, has a special section on optimal LDL testing, which I always forget which one's which. I think the HDL's the bad and the LDL's the good. I'm not positive on that. Or maybe that's the bad. But I have it written down somewhere, but I'll make a little note on it for improving that. And then there's one for lowering cholesterol and reversing heart disease. It tells you to avoid those foods. And then there's a section on lowering cholesterol. Nope, that's the same one. The way I copied it, I got that section twice. Lowering blood pressure, avoid these foods. One good thing is my blood pressure was excellent this time. I'm off all of the meds for high blood pressure. I was on med for that, and we kind of slowly, I said, do you think we could try doing that? I said, I'm still on the I take like a water pill for swelling. I said, I'm still on that because of the swelling, which can help with high blood pressure too. And she says, yeah, let's go ahead and take you off that one. She did that about a year ago. And she says, we'll just watch how it goes. And when I went yesterday, my blood pressure was 112 over 72. So she says, your blood pressure was excellent. I've got no complaints there. So she goes, do you know why your cholesterol? I said, I really don't have any clue. I mean, we don't eat a lot of red meat. I said, I know I could eat better, but I wouldn't think it would be as bad as it is. I did do a little research when I got home and seeing that Sjogren's can affect your cholesterol levels. So maybe it has to do with that. It says if you're, struggling with flares of that, it can affect. And I have had some spells in the last couple months where it's kind of acted up, so maybe that's just affected my cholesterol. So we'll just have to do our best. And then it says if you're trying to lose weight, you should also avoid these. And some of the things on that are actually good for your cholesterol. Some of them aren't, but like avocado and nuts are good for your cholesterol. I think as long as I don't, and nut butters as well. But I think as long as I don't overdo on any of those, we'll be okay. I'm more interested in getting my cholesterol down. If I lose a little weight in the process, hey, that's all well and good, because who doesn't want to lose weight, right? Well, unless you're underweight, which I have what child it is, but I kind of want to create kind of a master shopping list. We won't need as much regular groceries with going with the every plate. This week I had already made my grocery list out, and I told hubby I'm not going back through it and trying to delete things, because I'd have to go through every recipe of meals I planned to figure out what we don't need. I said most of the stuff I had planned will keep, so it's not like I'm buying stuff that'll go bad, because most of it you could freeze, or you just had a longer shelf life, or I can use those ingredients for something else. The veggies that I had on there, I can just use those for snacking. We mainly eat our main meal in the middle of the day. Now that hubby's retired, they actually say that's optimal if you eat your big meal then. So we said once he retired we were going to do that. So since he retired, we moved it to there. And then I need to start eating breakfast, and I know that. So I bought some cereal. And I know cereal's not the best thing, but here's the thing. If I don't buy something that's quick and easy to eat for breakfast, I don't eat it. So I kind of looked up different cereals. And Cheerios was one that came up as being good for you. So I bought one of their ones. I think it was the almond Cheerio, oat grain Cheerios or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was called. And I bought some Greek yogurt because Greek yogurt's good. And I also bought some fruit for munching on. I bought some apples and a watermelon. I'm going to make a watermelon salad on Sunday, but I'll have extra watermelon. So I'll have some watermelon. And I bought some radish chips. I'm not a big radish fan, but it was one of them that came up as really good. So I thought, well, I'll do it. If I dip them in hummus or in, I know dressing's not the best thing, but maybe a little light dressing or some salsa. The salsa's not bad. So salsa is like guacamole. It's one of those things that what you're dipping into it is usually what makes it worse. More so with salsa, because salsa is pretty low in calories because it's just different veggies chopped up. Now, avocado obviously can be a little bit high in calories, so guacamole can be a little bit more fattening, and it's probably something you should avoid if you're trying to actually lose weight, but we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that this has the desired effect, and I imagine she'll check that again in a year to see how I'm doing, and hopefully we'll have made some really good progress towards it. I know last time I had lowered it, and this time it's higher than it was the time before that, so which I was kind of waiting. I'm like, I think my last doctor would have put me on meds right away. So that's another thing I really like about this doctor is medication is not her first line of defense. Whereas my last primary care, it was pretty much your blood pressure's elevated one time, and that's kind of what I said when I switched to her too. I said, I said, well, one thing, I said, she basically gave me 2 weeks to get my blood pressure down. She goes, 2 weeks? I said, yeah. I said, we only shop every 2 weeks, so what we had, I wasn't going to get rid of the food we had in the house. So I was really just starting to implement the new diet when I went back to the doctor and it was still high, so she put me on med. She goes, yeah, that really wasn't a long enough time to, because most people do that. They transition into it. They don't just one day say, well, that's it. This is my new diet. She goes, especially when you only shop every 2 weeks. You're not going to go out and just buy all new groceries. You're going to use what you have. And I said, yeah, that's what we tried to do. I said, I tried to kind of at first bring it in slowly so that I wasn't throwing out food. We're not really in a place financially that I feel comfortable throwing out, well, much of anything, but especially food. So we'll see how it goes, how I do. Maybe that's something I'm going to have to include in my blogging, is how I'm doing eating and exercise wise. I know organizing, it helps hold me accountable. Maybe it'll work for diet and exercise, but right now it is so hot, it is hard to exercise. I'm going to try to take a walk this evening if I can. Maybe try to wait till the worst of the heat's over, and though it's still going to be hot, maybe try to get in a walk. Amazingly, I always get my fat burning minutes. My Fitbit watch tracks those. Let's see, where am I at with that right now? Well, I only have 7 minutes today. That's not as much as I usually have. I've been known to get, my goal for the week I think is 150. I've been known to get those in one day with hardly any steps. My heart rate is pretty good. I have 2,222 steps. My step goal is 5,000. Now I know they say 10,000 is optimal, but my health causes breathing issues. They say there's nothing wrong with my lungs, but I get short of breath very easily. And basically their advice to me was, when you start feeling that way, do not push it. So I'm trying to stay within my limits and yet still do more than I do now. I said sometimes I wonder if I really get enough activity in to really qualify as exercise, because I also can't walk really fast. We do take about a half-hour walk when we do it, so I'm hoping the amount of time is more important than the speed. And a lot of times, partway around, I have to say, we've got to slow down, or I am not going to make it all the way around, or I'm going to have to sit down. You're going to have to go with the car and come get me. So I'd rather slow down and finish the walk than not make it. But anyways, I went longer than I wanted. Are you following any diet or exercise programs? I like to try to engage the people watching if I can. I do like the Mediterranean diet. You don't even necessarily have to eat Mediterranean flavors, even though there's a lot of different ones. I mean, there's Italian, there's Greek, there's Spanish foods can count because they are where they are, and there's a few other ones that count in there. But the important thing is that it focuses more on vegetables, whole grains. I'm missing something. But vegetables, whole grains. Well, a healthy protein. You can do beans, peanut butter. Chicken's a good one. Poultry of any sort's really kind of a good one. Fish, if you like that. Seafood's good. I do like tilapia, and I know that's one of the fish that is not as healthy as the other ones, but it's one I like. I tried salmon and didn't care for it. I might try that again and try a different way of cooking it and see if maybe I like it better. Now, we did take what was left of the salmon and I ground it up and I made it like homemade fish sticks, and I liked those well enough. And it's probably not as healthy, though we did air fry it, so that's not quite so bad. And I think I used whole wheat panko breadcrumbs, so better than buying fish sticks, but not as good as probably just eating that salmon plain. But I was able to eat it that way, so sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But anyways, that's all I've got to share today. I want to thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you next time.